So, picking up where we left off last time, we were returning to
the hunter with the bear spear. He'll basically tell you that you need to go collect radio parts, and that along the way, you're probably going to end up having to fight the bear to the death. I took this with a grain of salt myself and didn't really think much of it because up until that point in cinematics, I haven't really seen the bear. He never really fucked with me. But that was my undoing. For you see, the bear only attacked me once I got around the second radio part, but I chased him off easy enough with the spear. In my head I thought, oh, you have to stab him with the spear until he dies. So, I allowed him to charge at me multiple times and stabbed him multiple times thinking it would kill him, not knowing that he would be invincible until later on. So, once I collected the radio parts and I headed back, I was ambushed by the bear, knocked out, and dragged into his cave, which then takes you into a, sneak portion of the game, I would say, which is very easy to fucking pass because basically you just gotta sneak around the bear and there's so many hidey holes that the bear can't get you in that it's basically impossible for the bear to get you. So, once you get the whole shebang shaboom and you sneak around the bear's cave, you relocate your bear spear, and basically you just fight him again and you stab him until he dies. After that, you don't get to collect anything off his corpse, sadly, because I would have loved to make the bearskin bed mat or the bearskin coat, but no, they don't allow you to do that. You'll just have to kill some other bear in the game, which I never bothered to do in the campaign. So, from there, it teleports you back to the hunter's cabin with all your gear, and basically, he tells you that you need to get to the dam once his radio breaks, of course, and try and contact people through there and get through to the other side so you can go to his friend and tell him his message. Spoilers, but none of this matters because there's some crazy prison inmate dude from the next part of the campaign that is there, and he knocks you out, ties you up, starts torturing you, asking you information about your ex-wife and the box that you have, what's inside it, what the code is, how to open it, yada yada. And because you have no idea what's in the box, and that dude has no idea that you're not lying, he's going to proceed to torture you after he knocks you out. That is, of course, just my guess, as episode 4 of The Long Dark has not come out yet. But if I was going to hypothesize anything, it would be that the second character in the story mode, your ex-wife, is going to show up and save you from that dude. Because
I could use this.
Later on, when I get to commenting on the end of the game as it is right now, it will connect you to the dam from where the second character in the story mode is. So after you get captured by that crazy prison inmate and he tortures you and knocks you out, you get pushed right into the story mode of your ex-wife who is in the plane with you. And they don't show you that at first. When the ex-wife's story mode first begins, it starts off with this hunter lady who's hunting for deer in the forest and whatnot. And she comes across basically the ex-wife who is now your character in this part of the story mode. And she picks you up because you're half dead, half frozen, takes you back to her house and nurses you back to health. She asks you questions, who you are, why you're there, what happened, stuff like that. There's nothing much that's interesting about her character. But you will find out later that she and her husband had problems. Many people, myself included, theorized that he was either abusive or, at the very least, super demeaning and just hateful towards his wife because of what she ended up letting happen. So, once you ask the lady if she has a husband, because you notice some details about her, she gets defensive and pissed off and leaves the cabin, tells you to stay put, and goes to hunt for food. Shortly thereafter, you fall asleep, and when you wake back up, it's to pretty much the sound of the phone ringing, which you then answer, and of course it's the hunter lady, and she explains how she went hunting for wolves and whatnot, and they managed to sneak around her and ambush her and corner her in the barn. So she tells you where to locate the key for the basement. You grab it, you go down there, you grab a revolver, some ammo, first aid, bandages, stuff like that. And then you have to go head out into the blizzard to try and get to the barn. Now, timber wolves, this is where timber wolves first come in the campaign. And they are some tough sons of bitches. They will not run away until you completely destroy them around. And I recommend that you just get into the barn. Just avoid wolves as much as you can. Save your ammo. You're going to need it. And once you're in the barn, you'll find that the lady has already left miraculously somehow because she had a bow in there with her. And somehow that helped her kill a wolf and escape. Doesn't make much sense to me, but whatever. So, with the lady escaped, there's plenty of arrows in there, bedroll, other supplies you can grab. And don't go back to the hunter lady's house because you can't go back in it. There's no point. Other than the basement. I mean, you can go in the basement because that's where you had to leave, but the other doors are locked and there's no other way back inside, so it's better to just leave it alone unless you want to collect like a wood or something if you left it there. So, once you're ready to keep going, you're going to head towards a nearby town where smoke is rising into the air. And you'll find yourself at a church full of people. These people are all survivors of a plane crash that happened up in the mountains, like a full-on airline carrier plane crash. And the local priest there is currently taking care of them. At first, he thinks you're one of the crash survivors from the airline carrier, but after a little bit of explaining, he kind of figures out what happened, or at least I think so. I kind of think he kind of doubted that you were delirious and whatnot, so either way. After you talk to him for a little bit and take a look around at the survivors and everything, you kind of learn that a lot of the stuff of the survivors is out there on the mountain, and you're going to need that, especially since one of the survivors is like diabetic and he's going to be dying of diabetes until you get him that medicine. So it is your mission to go out there and collect the insulin, and it also gives you a side quest to collect whatever personal items there are of the dead people so that you can mark who's dead and who's alive and whatnot. So the trek to the plane was easy enough, but I did stop around many of the areas, especially once I found some of the books, which gave me quests to go find bunkers and different other things. Like the Bigfoot book led me to a cave where a survivor had died, but he was wearing a wolfskin coat. And that was a huge help to me, especially since I had one in the previous campaign, and I was kind of sore about losing it.
That'll be all for this episode. We'll see you next time.